I'm Francesca Maxime.
And I'm Matt McClure, and this is Currents. A helping hand in Haiti. We'll hear from a relief agency about what's being done.
Young people hear about some unique vocations.
God has planted in us this great desire to serve Him as a priest, as a brother, as a religious sister.
And finding God in a materialistic world.
It's so short after the tragedy in Haiti, and we're talking about Wall Street and Broadway.
Well, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Well, the cleanup continues in Haiti after this week's devastating earthquake. The U.S. military began handing out food, water, and medical supplies in the capital city of Port-au-Prince today.
But still, a damaged airport, a mostly damaged seaport, and impassable roads are making it really difficult for a lot of the aid to actually reach the people who need it the most.
That's right. And to get a clearer picture of how things are actually going there on the ground, I had a chance to talk by phone today with Pat Johns. He is the Director of Staff Safety and Security with Catholic Relief Services. Well, Pat, thank you so much for being a part of Currents today. We appreciate your time, sir.
A pleasure to be with you.
Well, of course, we all know what's going on, and the situation in Haiti, of course, is just devastating. How is Catholic Relief Services responding?
Well, this is a real challenge. I mean, this is a catastrophe of utmost proportions. We had a huge program in Haiti before the earthquake. Nevertheless, the earthquake itself has presented its own challenges. The first day after the earthquake, we literally spent the entire day just going around the city trying to find our staff and see if they were able to make it through the crisis.
Right.
Which fortunately they were. Many of them lost relatives, but all our staff themselves were able to survive. Then yesterday we began to start our brainstorming on how we can respond, and this is not an easy one. Haiti is, as you well know, an insecure place to begin with. We actually started distributing some of our relief goods yesterday, so we were able to access those from our warehouse, which did not collapse during the earthquake, and we actually were able to get some goods out to people that need them.
Wow, well, that's great. Now, I know you've been sort of coordinating with people on the ground in Haiti and here in the U.S. What are folks on the ground, the staffers there on the ground in Haiti, seeing as they are trying to help people out?
Oh, it's tremendous hardship, tremendous misery. Water is in very short supply. People don't have any access at all to safe water. Food is in short supply. The general population is still severely traumatized. You go around the city, and the aftermath is everywhere. It's total destruction.
Are workers there on the ground, are they seeing signs of hope among Haitians?
I don't think so yet. I wish I could say yes, but I don't think so yet.
Yeah.
We've definitely not turned that corner yet.
Well, hopefully we will very soon, Pat. And one more thing here really quickly before we wrap things up. Sure. The folks that are watching, how can they get in touch with Catholic Relief Services to help?
Yeah, they have set up an 800 or an 877 number. It's 1-877-HELP-CRS. So, if people are interested to help us, that is, call that number. We could use all the help we can get.
Okay, 877-HELP-CRS.
Yes.
So we'll direct people there. Thank you so much, Pat, for your time today. Pat Johns, the Director of Staff Safety and Security with Catholic Relief Services. We appreciate your time today.
You bet. Thanks much.
Thank you so much.
The situation there is so dire, and there have even been several reports of barricades of Haitians protesting so much that they're actually taking bodies and piling them up in the streets to form barricades, actual people who have been killed in this earthquake.
Yeah, and that's one of the things, that when I was talking to Pat that struck me most was when I asked him, I said, are the people on the ground, are they seeing any signs of hope from Haitians? And he said, no, they're just not at this point seeing much hope at all.
Well, but they are continuing to pray, and I did hear one woman who was rescued, who spoke English fluently, was able to say, I pray all the time, regularly, And I'm so glad that I do, because when I was trapped underneath that rubble for, at this point, I don't know how long it was, maybe 30 hours, 40 hours, something like that. She said she prayed the whole time and kept thinking as an only child what her parents would do if she weren't around. And she was sure that that helped, you know, continue to keep her life for her.
Right. It's just something that we can only imagine. And as we talk about here and as we see the pictures, to be in that situation is just something that we can't imagine, but the help is coming and the help is on the way. So that's the important thing. Well, stay tuned. There's much more currents coming up ahead, including the day's headlines.
And we'll have much more on the latest search and rescue efforts in Haiti when we come back.
Welcome back to Currents. I'm Matt McClure.
And I'm Francesca Maxime. Coming up just a bit later, finding God in the city that never sleeps.
But first, let's check the day's headlines. Well, earlier on, I spoke with Pat Johns of Catholic Relief Services about their continuing efforts to help the people of Haiti. Well, organizations that are Catholic are helping with the relief effort there, and they're preparing for the long haul. In addition to work being done by CRS, the Catholic Medical Mission Board is also working to send medical supplies and equipment to Haiti. Well, that medical assistance may be some of the most important and badly needed aid. Experts say the first 72 hours after a disaster are critical for saving survivors. Well, that window is just closed in Haiti, but there's still much to do and many more lives to save. CNN's Susan Candiati is in Port-au-Prince, where one of the many thousands of victims was rescued.
Beneath an opening of a 5-story school, a 21-year-old man is pinned on his side under a slab of cement, alive after 46 hours. Someone passes him our microphone.
What are you saying to yourself?
Myself? As I'm a Christian, I say, Jesus, you know my life is in your hand.
He says he's not in pain. A leg is stuck.
Can you move at all?
I can move my right hand and my left foot.
A brave victim and brave rescuers, his own family, risking their lives to free him.
They tried to help me.
Grade schoolers and teachers were also inside when the building collapsed.
Me with a teacher is 5, and me, I'm like you say.
But will his luck hold out?
After about an hour and a half, a little more progress was made. These men using chisels and a blowtorch have freed him up just a little bit more, but one of his hands is still caught. And while all of this is going on, this is a very dangerous situation.
He screams in agony as a blowtorch scorches his skin. Rescuers pass him water by the bucket to cool his burns.
Please hang on, please hang on.
He does. Applause as the young man is pulled from the wreckage, his hand mangled but still there. A glorious moment in a sea of despair. Among those still suffering, a woman on the other side of the building, a woman in pain. Her 12-year-old son Mark was also in the same school. Could his be one of those voices still crying out? Her only child remains missing.
Well, that is CNN's Susan Candiati reporting. And in a story that hits closer to home, a New Jersey woman was rescued from the rubble in Haiti, giving hope to thousands of people in the tri-state area longing to hear from loved ones. Teaneck native Charlotte Chand was pulled from the collapsed Hotel Montana more than 50 hours after Haiti's devastating quake. Chand looked beleaguered but okay and was eating a cookie soon after being rescued, telling the team that pulled her out, "Thank you for saving my life."
Generous and genuine love. A Vatican spokesman says that is the only real comfort right now for the people of Haiti. Father Federico Lombardi said on a weekly Vatican TV show that the world is rightly shaken by the tragedy of the people of Haiti, and that the gravity of the tragedy becomes an occasion for an extremely vast contest for solidarity and love. Back on U.S. soil now, the candidate for Ted Kennedy's Senate seat is coming under fire. After a weekly radio interview yesterday, Democratic candidate Martha Coakley was feeling the heat from some pro-life groups. In an exchange on WBNS radio, Coakley was asked about religious freedom and the separation of church and state as it relates to abortion. At issue, medical providers in an emergency room who believe religious freedom would allow for them to not provide the so-called morning after pill to victims of rape or incest. The radio show host argued the Pope would say doing so was regarded as a sin and protected under religious freedoms. Coakley responded that the law, based on Roe v. Wade, did not support that. The law did not support that, and that people with the desire to not provide those services perhaps should not work in an emergency room.
Well, stay tuned. There's more Currents straight ahead.
Just ahead, some high schoolers get an invitation to explore a life they might not have thought about.
Just hearing about it is kind of like makes me want to do it more.
Well, while we are all unique, there's one common question that everybody asks themselves at some point, and that question is, what am I going to do with my life? It's certainly a question on the minds of many high schoolers. I remember it wasn't that long ago when I was asking myself the same thing in high school. Well, they're now thinking about college and their futures, but it's also a question on the mind of the Diocese of Brooklyn.
Yesterday, students at Bishop Laughlin High School in Brooklyn's Fort Greene neighborhood, they actually got an opportunity to hear about a path in life that they may not have even been considering. It's all part of National Vocations Awareness Week, and our Natalia Ortiz has more.
During the last few years of high school, teens are often consumed by SAT scores and college entrance exams. But the Diocese of Brooklyn has one more option they want these students to consider. When was the last time you saw a young nun? Can't remember? It's no secret the Catholic Church is experiencing a crisis in vocations. That is, the number of people becoming priests, nuns, brothers, and religious volunteers. So the Diocese of Brooklyn is ramping up efforts to help young people heed God's call.
We want to get the word out to young people, especially in our Catholic high schools, about how God has planted in us this great desire to serve Him as a priest, as a brother, as a religious sister.
And that's why the national initiative Vocations Awareness Week was created. And as part of the push to the pulpit, Father Kevin Abels visited Bishop Laughlin in Fort Greene to speak to juniors and seniors about religious life and share his theory behind the vocations decline.
I think one of the reasons why young people are not considering a vocation to priesthood or religious life is because they don't have information about what we do.
It seems Father Abel is right. Soraya Batista, a Bishop Laughlin High School junior, says the event dispelled common misconceptions.
Because sometimes you think they live so just excluded from everything else and so segregated that it's disinteresting. You don't want to be a nun because all they're going to do is pray all day or because basically you think they have no life, and then to find out that they really do have a social life and that volunteers really do go out with their friends.
Soraya was one of many students who got something out of the event. Armand Keller says he even plans on pursuing one of the day's featured vocations.
One of the things I want to do is become a LaSallian volunteer. I had that set out early. And so just hearing about it, how you get to interact with other people and what you get to do is kind of makes me want to do it more.
The LaSallian Volunteer Program is a vocation where no vows have to be taken, and the length of time a person participates is open-ended. Volunteers live within a religious community and shadow their lifestyle. But when it comes to a lifelong commitment, these teens were a bit more cautious.
I value family a lot, and I'd like to be close to my family at all times, but you never know. I mean, it's God's will. Maybe someday I'll end up doing that, even though I'm saying now that I won't.
But whether they join religious life or not, Father Abel says getting young people just to consider vocations is all they're really hoping for.
Well, you can learn more about vocations here in the Brooklyn Diocese on our blog. Just head to currentsny.net and click on Riding the Wave.
Well, stay tuned. There's much more Currents ahead. Coming up, bright lights, big city, and God.
When you have too much, you think you can live forever, and you may not live forever. You think you can control everything, and you can't control everything.
Well, finally tonight, in the wake of the earthquake in Haiti, many people have been asking, where is God in all of this?
Yes, it's a question that not only arises when disaster strikes, but people are constantly searching and looking for God in their everyday lives.
Fortunately for us, the Passionist Retreat House in Jamaica Estates, Queens, is hosting an ongoing series called Places Where We Meet God.
We sent our cameras to their most recent seminar about the life and faith of St. Elizabeth Ann Seton, who practiced her faith in the heart of New York City. We talked to the presenters about where we can find God today. It's been called the city that never sleeps, the Big Apple. But one moniker you probably won't hear anytime soon, City of God.
New York is a city of power. From the very beginning, it was a city that was blessed by immense resources. When you have too much, you can lose the sense of reality. You lose the sense of your own vulnerability. When you have too much, you think you can live forever, and you may not live forever. You think you can control everything, and you can't control everything.
New York City's reputation is one of glamour, greed, materialism, and some would argue hedonism.
The process of secularization, it's been going on, from at least the 15th, 16th century.
But spiritual awakenings in New York are not uncommon. One illustration of this, Elizabeth Seton, the first native-born American saint.
She lived on Wall Street, so she must have found God there, and she had this great sense of finding God in the present moment, in the will of God as it was laid out to her through the people and through the circumstances of that particular time.
She found in the financial district, in the working district, a place to express her faith and her charity that comes from her relationship with God.
Still, that's not exactly a recent example. American excess is legendary, and nowhere more so than in New York City. That's a fact that becomes glaringly obvious when compared to countries like Haiti. But the recent tragedy serves as a reminder.
Traditionally, when you have an earthquake somewhere, people recognize that it can happen to them as well as it can happen there. They're reminded of their union together as a human family, that we live a very precarious existence.
It's not that long since there was a major tragedy here in New York City.
The loss of the World Trade, that was a significant sign of the powerlessness of human power.
But the glimmer of hope still exists.
They still pray in New York City. They still find their solace, their spiritual solace in some of those churches.
God is everywhere. He's on the streets, He's in our homes, He's in our business places. Some choose to ignore Him, some choose to keep their eyes open and look and see if they can find Him. And for those who seek, He will be found.
Well, where can we find God today? And of course, I think someplace that folks in Haiti are finding God now are on the faces of people who have come to help them. Mm-hmm. And it's really, I guess when you're in such a desperate situation, just having someone who's there to lend a helping hand is a great thing.
Yeah, and it's really nice that they're able to get more access now, although there is still so much work to be done. Mm-hmm. We elicited your comments a couple of days ago. We were interested in hearing some of what you had to say about that. Where is God in things, or what are your prayers and the messages that you might have for the Haitian people, because we do have such a dense Haitian population here in the area.
Right, and we did get several comments there on the blog, Riding the Wave at currentsny.net. Deb says, keep Haiti in our prayers. She told us that she just wanted to take the time to send out her thoughts and prayers to all of the people and all others who have been affected by the earthquake. My blessings go out to all of you, and may God bless and comfort you in your time of need.
And then I have a quick one from Bernadette from Canada. She says, we pray for the living survivors. Be with them, Lord, in this traumatic time. May they experience your healing in their spirits as well as their bodies.
And also Janie says the Haitians living here should definitely be given the temporary protected status. She says there's no way to return home now. We must remember that we're all God's children and that we should all help each other in times of trouble and hardship. So some great comments there. Thank you so much for leaving those on our blog. And speaking of our blog, and speaking of Haiti as well, Bishop Guy Saint-Cyrique has issued a plea for help for people from Haiti also. And we'll be posting that up on our blog. It's actually up there right now, currentsny.net. You go there, you click on Riding the Wave, and you'll see that information. He's got a lot of great information there about where you can give and what to give, and great information. And we also, a neat thing that we're doing here, we're posting it in English and in Creole as well, so folks will be able to see it in both languages.
And we do appreciate all of your comments and all the assistance you can give to the Haitian people at this time. Really, they need financial assistance right now. Go to a reputable organization like the ones that we've shared with you, that you can maybe make a contribution if you can. Well, that is all for this edition of Currents. You can always check us out online, as Matt mentioned earlier, at currentsny.net. And for all of us here, I'm Francesca Maxime.
And I'm Matt McClure. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend.